Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, so let's start. So in our last session, or maybe up to the last session, we talked about the changes which have happened to the materials management or the materials movement. So we talked about the PO output determination, we talked about the material ledger functionality, we talked about the data model like MATDOC table, how it is going to replace the existing tables of the ECC world. And as I told you, from the new implementation point of view, we have already seen most of the things which are related to MM. But still, there will be some things which will be required from the conversion point of view. So conversion thing we are going to see towards the end of this course, which means we will be completing the new implementation project first. So we already talked about MM. So now today I'll start with SD. Then I'll talk about MRP, that is PP point of view. And finally, during the towards the end, we'll be talking about the conversion. So there may be some other activities also related to materials management, which will come again in the conversion process. And in the last session, I shown you the document, 1511 document, which was relevant to certification. But as I told you, that 1610 document is much matured, and we'll be seeing that also. I'll just go through that document also. But that document I'm not able to give today, but I think tomorrow we'll be having that document. So what I'm doing is I'm showing you the changes in SD as of today. We'll be starting with SD, and tomorrow again, uh, once a particular topic is completed, I will be showing you 1610 document related to the MM changes. Okay, so let's start off with the SD. Now, similar to MM, we have seen that there are some changes in the data modeling. Data modeling means the way in which the data was getting stored in the tables. So there were some tables which are removed, there were some tables, one or two tables which are added. We talked about MATDOC and all. Similar to that, there is change in SD also. So for example, the VBUK and VBUP tables. What these tables are used for? They are used for the status information. So whenever you create a sales order, okay, and the complete sales order cycle, like you convert the you create the sales order, then you do the delivery for that sales order, and finally you do the billing of that particular order. So all this status information, like what is the status of a sales order, what is the status of the delivery, what is the status of the billing, all these things are available in VBUK and VBUP in ECC. But now in SAP S4HANA, just give me a minute, Arijit is asking a question. Okay, Arijit, I'll answer that. Let me just complete this. So VBUK and VBUP, they used to store the status related information in one table. Now in SAP S4HANA, all this information, status information, we don't need a separate table. Till now we were using separate table altogether, VBUK for header information and VBUP for line level information. Now we don't need status information to be available separately. Status will be directly available in the main tables. So the status which was related to sales order will be available in table VBAK and VBAP. The status which was relevant to the delivery will be available in tables LIKP and LIPS, which are the delivery related tables. And the status which is relevant to billing will be directly available in VBRK and VBRP. So earlier, although these tables were available, but on top of that, there were two additional tables which were holding the status. Now, the main tables itself will also hold the status related information. So you don't need any additional table to store the same information and create the redundancy. Okay, so that is one thing. So status tables have been completely not going to be updated anymore. Let me show you this thing directly in the system. Okay, so if I go for table SE16N, transaction SE16N for having the data in the table, and if I try for VBUK, okay, which was having the status related information for the header, if you just try to execute this, it will not result any data. There will not be any data stored in this table going forward. And all these fields which were available in VBUK, these fields are either related to sales order or relevant to delivery or relevant to billing. As you can see, this is the delivery status, this is the order status, and this is the billing status, and all these supporting fields. Now all these fields will be bifurcated into three different tables. So the fields which are related to sales order will be available in VBAK. The fields which are relevant to delivery will be available in LIKP, and the fields which are relevant to billing will be available in VBRK. So if you compare the fields in the tables compared to ECC, you will find some new fields in VBAK. Okay, in VBAK you will get a list of different fields which are relevant to the status information. This one. So these fields, they were not available earlier. These tables, these fields were available directly in table VBUK. It was not storing any information at this place. But now, as I told you, based on the application, if it is related to sales order, it will be available in VBAK or in LIKP or in VBRK. Okay, so these tables will now include the status information directly in the main table. There is no need of a separate table altogether. Okay, let me just go back to PPT once again. This is one change. Second change is the index tables. Okay, which are the index tables? Index tables like VAKPA, VAPMA. Again, you can see this is VA stands for the sales order related information, VL stands for delivery level information, and VR stands for the billing level information. So VAKPA and VAPMA, what exactly are these tables? Let me take again to the screen. VAKPA. This is index table to see the order related to the partner function. Okay, so for example, when you run a report VA05, where you specify that how many orders are, or if you select, if you go to VA05, let me just take you. Okay, and you specify sold to party or maybe some of these conditions, even the partner function, what happens is based on the selection criteria, data gets appeared from this table, VAKPA table. Okay, but now earlier this VAKPA table was storing the data which is the subset of which table? Sales order table, that is VBAK. The question is, when already all the information is available in VBAK, then why are we creating a separate table to hold this information? This information, whatever you can see in VAKPA, this information is already available in VBAK. But because VBAK was our main table, and normally in order to uh, improvise the performance of our main tables, normally we don't touch the main tables, we create lot of indexes in ECC. That is the reason these indexes were created. But now these indexes are not required because of the power of SAP HANA, the data, although if it is available in the direct table, your reporting will become faster. So there is no more requirement of having any index tables. But at the same time, if I show you this in SE11, if I go for VAKPA and click on display, if you remember last time I told you how to decide whether this particular thing is a table or a view. So if you are getting these options here, technical settings, index and append structure, and if you are able to see this as field, then this is still available as a table. So although VAK, VAK, PA, VAPMA, these are the index tables, but as of now, even in 1610 also, this is our 1610 server, even in 1610 also, they are still available as the tables. So we can assume that in the next architecture, in the next version, these tables will be removed and all the information will directly come from VBAK. But as of now, this is still available and these are planned to be deleted in the subsequent SAP S4HANA versions. Okay, so VAKPA, as I shown you, this is related to sales order according to the partner function. VAPMA is related to the document line items, sales order line items according to material. Let me show you same thing again. So if I go for VAPMA, okay, this is order items by material. Okay, so if you provide the material number, it will tell you, it will provide you all the line items for which this material has been used. Okay, so now instead of VAPMA, we can directly use VBAP, because in VBAP we already have the material number, right? We have the material number and we can provide the selection criteria to get that information. That is the reason all these tables will be deleted. So from order point of view, VAKPA for header, VAPMA for lines. Similarly, from delivery point of view, these are the different tables. So from delivery point of view, starting with VLKPA, which means deliveries according to the partner function. VLPMA, delivery line items according to material. VRKPA, billing header information according to partner function, and VRPMA is billing line items according to material. So today there are 6 tables, 6 such tables which are unnecessarily holding the redundant data, even in 1610 also. So this is something which is planned to be deleted in future. Any questions in these two points that we discussed till now? Okay, so first point is already in place. VBUK and VBUP, these are already deleted. But these are still available, although in the plan they are to be deleted. So that is the reason it is clearly written here, target architecture. Wherever you will be in the PPT, wherever you will find this target architecture, this means this is in the plan, but this is still not available in the system. So even in 1610 also, this is as a target architecture. Pricing changes, I think this we already discussed when we discussed from the materials management point of view. Same point is applicable here also, which means that in ECC, we had condition table, KONV, which was holding the pricing conditions for sales orders as well as purchase orders. Now that KONV has been completely not removed from the database, but it is not going to hold any data. So even if you go and try to execute table KONV, it will not result any data. It will say no data found. So what will happen to my conditions, whatever were stored in KONV, and what will happen to new conditions? If I do the transaction, if I create a sales order or the purchase order, where exactly my conditions will get stored? So for that, SAP has provided a completely new table called as PRCD underscore elements. This PRCD underscore elements will hold the pricing conditions starting from SAP S4HANA. KONV will not be used anymore. Okay, this was the first thing that we discussed. Second thing, from the pricing point of view, again we talked during the materials management, was the number of accesses within the access sequence. So earlier, only 99 accesses were allowed in ECC. Again in ECC also, if there was a requirement from customer to have more than 99 accesses, SAP has already provided this SAP pilot note 1812828. So after implementing this SAP note, even in ECC also, you can have more than 99 accesses, that is up to 999 accesses. Okay, but now in SAP S4HANA, there is no need of implementing this SAP note, because in the standard functionality itself, SAP has provided up to 999 accesses within the access sequence. Okay, so this is the same thing that we discussed, but let me just show you very shortly what exactly this thing is and where exactly you will find this information. So the first thing is KONV. If I go to KONV, this is still available as a table as I told you. But if I try to execute this and try to find out how many records are available in this table, okay, you will find this message. There are no table entries found, which means KONV is not going to hold any information starting from SAP S4HANA. And here also you can see that it has been replaced with PRCD underscore elements, which means whatever new information, whatever new sales orders, purchase orders you will be creating, data will be stored in this new table. And even in case of conversion, which means if you are already using SAP ECC and lot of data is already available in KONV, so during the time of conversion process, whenever you will be performing the conversion or upgrade from ECC to SAP S4, during that conversion, automatically all the data which is available in KONV will be moved to PRCD underscore elements. Okay, so if I show you PRCD underscore elements here, it will show you the data, the columns which were available till now in ECC under the table KONV. Okay, so whatever information was available in KONV, now it has been moved to table PRCD underscore elements. Okay, so if you remember, I told you that normally whenever SAP deletes a particular table, they provided the CDS views. So for example, we have talked multiple times regarding the MARC, unrestricted quantity, which means if we already created some reports which are taking the data from fields which are no more going to be updated, what will happen to that reports? So as I told you, that tables will be converted as the views, which means automatically system will redirect the control to the background tables and the information will be available as it was available till now. But in case of this particular scenario where KONV has been replaced with PRCD underscore elements, it will not automatically redirect, which means if you have created some Z reports which are trying to get the data from KONV, they will result in error. Okay, so how are you going to solve that error? So whenever we'll be using the custom code analyzer tool, as I told you during the conversion, in order to identify how many custom objects are impacted, what we are going to do, we are going to run a tool called as custom code analyzer, which will give you the complete list that out of this much Z objects which are available in your current system, these are the objects which are impacted, which will not work as they were working till now. Okay, and it will also tell you what adjustment is required. Okay, it will not only give you the error, it will also tell you what adjustments are required so that you can make the corrective actions. This is regarding the KONV to PRCD underscore element. Now coming to the accesses within the access sequence. So in the pricing, if I go to SPRO, and within this, let's go for sales and distribution and then pricing. Okay, so you have the access sequence here where you define the access sequence. Okay, so let's take any access sequence. Let's take this one, first one. Now in this, you can see this much number of accesses. So normally, I think 99 is more than sufficient. As you can see here, only 4 are used. Okay, normally also when you go for any implementation project, I think 99 is more than sufficient. But still, there are some industries who had this requirement earlier, who requested SAP to provide some solution if we have more than 99 accesses. And that is the reason SAP has provided the pilot note, after which, after you implement that, this will be increased to 3 characters. So today, if you see in the system 999, I'm able to enter up to 3 characters, which means I can add up to 999 accesses in this particular screen. But if I open the same screen in ECC, okay, so if I open the same screen, if I go to this SPRO, SAP reference IMG, going to sales and distribution. Basic functions. ECC system is very slow. Pricing, pricing control, and define access sequence. Okay, so here, if I do the same thing, if I go to accesses, it's click on new entries, and if you try here, it will not allow you more than 2 characters. So the number of accesses which were allowed was 99, which has been extended to 3 characters now, which means you can be able to store up to 999 accesses within the access sequence. Same thing is described here with SAP Note. So maximum number of accesses in the access sequence has been increased from 99 to 999. Therefore, the solution described in SAP Pilot Note, which was only relevant for customers for which this note was released, is no longer necessary nor valid. Okay, any content from the solution will automatically be transferred to standard tables during the upgrade process. So as I told you, whatever content is available in KONV, okay, which is no more available now because system is not going to store anything in KONV. So during the upgrade process to SAP S4, automatically all the content of KONV will be transferred to PRCD_elements. Okay, I think this is same thing which we already seen in the materials management also, because this is valid for both. I think this is also one thing which is common in materials management in and ST, foreign trade functionality, which we were using till now. So within the foreign trade functionality, we had 2 different solutions which were provided by SAP. One is using the foreign trade management within MM and ST, which is very more available in the same core SAP Business Suite. Okay, and second option was, which is the advanced option with lot of new benefits, is Global Trade System, GTS, SAP GTS. And for the companies who are really looking to comply with the foreign trade regulation norms, these companies are already transferred to or already switched to GTS. There are many companies, I think 90% of the companies who are looking for to comply with the global trade, they are already into GTS as of today. But there are still some companies, maybe because of licensing and the external box, because GTS cannot be deployed on the core system. GTS functionality is not available directly on the core system. It is available as a separate external interface. And definitely the licensing part is also over and above the core business processes. So maybe that is one of the reasons why some of the customers were still using the old functionality. But now with SAP S4HANA, in order to make sure that there are no different applications which are serving the same purpose, SAP has completely removed the foreign trade functionality. Only in case of intra-state reporting, I've shown you some of the fields which are still available in the material master screen. Apart from that, the other compliance related features are no more available in foreign trade. Okay, so this is same valid for materials management as well as sales and distribution. So in case of the outward movements and in case of the inward movements, for both these options, foreign trade functionality is no more available, and if you have the requirement, you need to mandatorily move to GTS with the separate licensing. Okay, so I think this is same thing which you already know what is foreign trade. It incorporates the latest technology to ensure that everything you need to handle your foreign trade transactions at your fingertips. And this functionality is fully integrated into SAP system component. It is integrated with to handle the good receipts and imports, and also it is integrated with sales and distribution for the goods issues and exports. Okay, so this functionality was very good. It was serving the purpose, but according to the new legal requirements for foreign trade regulations, this was not sufficient, and that is the reason customers has already moved to GTS. Okay, so system of GTS lets you automate your global trade transactions, manage large number of business partners and documents, and ensures that your company always complies with constantly changing international legal regulations. So even as you know that when we talk about the compliance, compliance is something which is not like the standard functionality. Compliance always keep on changing. Whenever there is something new proposal has been passed in the government or maybe in the foreign trade regulations, your system also needs to adopt that changes. So even the foreign trade functionality was available from years. Whenever there was a change in the global trade compliance, anyways foreign trade was not getting adopted by that because SAP has already provided GTS. So all these new changes were only becoming part of GTS, not for foreign trade. So that is again one of the basic reason why most of the big customers, they already moved to GTS very early rather than for with some of the small customers who are using the foreign trade functionality till now. And SAP GTS, as we discussed, this is not something which is available on your core system. This is available as an external service which has to be installed on the separate instance. And going forward with SAP S4HANA, foreign trade functionality is not available because global trade services is a successor of business requirement. What do you mean by successor? Successor means earlier foreign trade functionality was available, now it is not available, so whatever things you were doing in foreign trade, that will be now available in GTS, and SAP is not going to provide any new SAP notes, any new features on foreign trade because that has automatically become obsolete. So whatever new features will come, that will also come as a part of GTS. So technically, SAP has stopped foreign trade functionality completely. There are not any new updates, new nodes, which are going to come from that particular functionality point of view. That is the reason it is a successor. Successor means no more new developments on foreign trade. Whatever new developments will come, they will come on GTS. This is very important and this is specific to SD because whatever 2-3 things we've seen in our last slides, they were related to both. They were related to your sales and distribution also and materials movement also. But now when we are talking about credit management, this is something which is only related to SD, or I can say SD plus FI integration. So till now in ECC, we were using the FI AR credit management, or you can call it as SD AR credit management. Okay, so we were doing the configuration under the FI and SD nodes to configure the credit management. So we were starting off with enterprise structure where we were creating the credit control area, and then whatever configurations we were doing in the SD node or in the FI node of accounting. Apart from that, in ECC itself, SAP also has another solution which serves the same purpose, which is called as FSCM credit management. So let me just show you this thing in the system, in ECC also, and then into SAP S4. So this is my ECC system. Okay, here in the SPRO screen, if I go for sales and distribution once again, let me close this pricing. You can see credit management and risk management. Okay, within credit management, you have this credit management component where you are defining all this configuration. Okay, even within this credit management and risk management, there are a lot of places where you are maintaining the configuration for credit management. So determine the active receivables per item category, define credit groups, assign sales document and delivery documents. I'll talk about all these things, but I'm just giving you the overview as of now. So what I wanted to highlight here is under the SD node, there was a lot of configuration because we were using this functionality. From the master data point of view, we were going to transaction FD32 to create the master data, credit master data for the customer. Okay, so what we were providing here, for this particular customer under this credit control area, we can specify some information like what is the credit limit of the customer, right? So this particular functionality is part of this SDAR credit management. Okay, SDAR credit management belongs to this particular node. Apart from this, as I told you, even in ECC itself, same functionality or same features are available with some other solution also, which is called as financial supply chain management. So if you go for financial supply chain management, there is component called as credit management. Now this component is also used for the same purpose with some additional benefits. What are the additional benefits? If I'm using SDAR credit management, whatever credit control I want to perform, that will be restricted to this same server. Okay, so let's say for example, if I'm working with a company who have the offices all over the world and they are not having one common SAP system. They have separate system region wise. So Europe is using their own SAP system, Americas are using their own SAP system, okay, which is not integrated to each other. Now at the client level, let's say for example European level, if they have the customer and they want to perform the credit control, they can do in their own server, which can be very well done in SDAR credit management. Similarly, if Asia also wants to perform the credit control on the Asian customers, that is also something which is possible within SDAR credit management. But there are some customers which are available at the global level. And I don't want to control the credit region wise. I want to have a global credit limit given to these customers. Okay, but the problem is all of them are not available on the common server. Server itself is different. So how are we going to consolidate that? How are we going to consolidate all the information from different systems into one common credit control solution? That is something which you can achieve by using FSCM component. Within FSCM credit management, you can do the multiple system landscape where you transfer the data from all the different applications and you can manage the credit control at the central level. That is one of the important benefit of FSCM credit management, which will give you the centralized credit control. Other benefit is, let's say for example, as I shown you the FD32 screen. So whenever you create a new customer and if you have a plan to allow some credit to that customer, you need to define some credit limit. Okay, let's say you defined to this particular customer I am going to give this much credit. To this particular customer I am going to give, let's say 10,000 USD credit, and to some other customer I will be giving 50,000 USD. The question is, how do you determine this? If I am your customer, you are giving me 10,000 USD as a credit. To other customer you are giving 50,000. Why there is a difference? Why are you giving more credit to another person and less credit to me? The reason is it is all based upon the relations with the organization. Not only with the organization, what is my credit history in the market? So for example, if you are a company and some customer is approaching you saying that I am ready to do business with you, but I need this much credit. So what are you going to do? Before you allow him the credit, you want to check his credit history in the market. How will you do that? Either you will go to some person, third person who knows both you and that third party, and he can provide you the feedback like how exactly this customer is. Or maybe you can go to the credit rating agencies. There are a lot of credit rating agencies which can provide you the credit history of a particular customer. So even if you are going to buy the credit card today in the market, what these companies do, even if you go for getting the loan from the banks, they take the information based upon your credit history, your credit ratings. Okay, they get this information from the credit rating agencies, and it is totally based upon your history, like whether you paid your credit card payments on time or not, whether you are paying your EMIs or time or not. So all this information, if you are getting, it will be easy for you to decide whether we should give him the credit limit or not, or even if we are giving him, what amount should we allow him. So if I talk from the ECC point of view, SDAR credit management point of view, you need to get this information offline, and you need to finally fill in the figure whatever you want to provide as a credit limit. So whatever analysis you have done, that is out of SAP system, and then you are entering that information manually in the SDAR credit management. That okay, based on offline survey whatever I have done, let's say I have decided that I want to give you 50,000 as a credit limit. On the other hand, in FSCM, you don't need to do this offline. In FSCM, there is a component which allows you to interact with credit rating agencies. So you can online get the information from the credit rating agencies. You can create some formulas in SAP FSCM credit management, which will automatically calculate the credit limit based on certain characteristics. And that credit limit will be automatically updated in the credit master data of the customer. So this is again one of the important benefit, and this is very important in case of the companies where you are keeping on adding thousands of customers on a day. Just to give you an example, the mobile service providers, they keep on adding thousands of customers in a day. Okay, and it is not very easy for them to offline go to the rating agencies, get the information and then upload into the system. Rather than that, they will definitely like to have this kind of functionality where once you create a customer, automatically that information goes to credit rating agencies. They send some data in the files through the interfaces, and that data will be used to perform the calculations and to update the credit master data of a particular customer. Just to give an example with the same logic, if you go for postpaid connection with, let's say, Vodafone, so normally within 1 or 2, 3 days, you will be getting the message that they have provided you this much dynamic credit limit. Okay, so although they have provided the credit, but there is a cap. It doesn't mean that you keep on doing the calls and after that they will keep on following up with you for the payments. Based on your history, they will decide some of the credit limit, and above that you cannot go till the time uh, you are not asking them to increase your credit limit based on some proofs or some documentations that they need. So that is something which is very much possible in FSCM credit management. So such type of companies which keeps on adding many different customers on day-to-day basis, they will not be happy with the normal credit management functionality. They always go for FSCM credit management. So in short, in ECC, for same features, to update the credit master data of the customer and to control the credit to control the credit transactions, SAP has provided two solutions in ECC. One is SDR credit management and second is FSCM credit management. Now in SAP S4, again with the same logic that we are discussing, wherever there are two or more functionalities which are used for the same features, remove the functionality which has lesser number of benefits. So with that logic, SAP has removed the normal SDAR credit management, which means now you will not be able to configure anything through SD and AR. If you want to use the credit management functionality, that is only available via FSCM credit management. Even the master data, transaction, releases, everything will be used via the new logic of FSCM credit management, even the reporting. So configuration, transactions, as well as reportings, everything will be now done via FSCM credit management. The old credit management is not at all available in SAP S4. Okay, so if I show you the same information in SAP S4HANA system, in SPRO, so here in SD, as we have seen in case of ECC, if you go for basic functions, this one, credit management, risk management, see, there is no configuration available, only some documentation is provided, which is saying if you want to use credit management, you must be aware that it works solely with credit management of financial supply chain management, which means that configuration is not at all available. You cannot configure the system in the traditional way. On top of that, if you try to create the master data, I shown you every 32 transaction. If I run every 32 here, this is also going to result in error. What is the error? That this is no more available. Okay, so the way in which you create a master data, the way in which you configure the system, transaction, reports, everything has been changed from the credit management point of view. So currently I'm just providing you overview, but I'm going to show you this functionality completely, like how to configure, how to create a master data, how to do the transactions, and finally how to see the reports. Any question as of now before I proceed to the next slide? Are you all able to hear me? There are no questions today.
Hey Gaurav, Manish here.
Yes, Manish.
Hey, probably I missed that point, that KONV and PRCD underscore element, like you told for other tables, there are means when we do the conversion, there are views available, but here in the KONV case, that it will not allow, it will give the error in the custom code if we have used that. So probably I missed that part. So what is the solution here for this?
Yeah. So solution is, see, that kind of situation will only come in case of conversion, right? Because
Yes.
in case of new implementation, you don't need to worry because whatever is used is new one. All the data will be
Yes,
available
PRCD.
in underscore elements. Yes. In case of conversion, so
Yes.
there are a lot of such cases where your old code will not work. It may be related to report. It may be related to some custom object. So that
Mm-hmm.
is the reason before you
Mm-hmm.
perform the conversion, in your
Mm-hmm.
ECC system itself, you are going to use some of the tools, okay, which we'll be discussing in the conversion process, but I'll just provide you the overview, although we discussed this thing earlier also. So
Okay.
one of the tool is called as custom code analyzer or the simplification database, whatever name you call it,
Mm-hmm.
simplification database or the custom code analyzer tool. The purpose of that tool is to check in your existing ECC system, are there any objects, are there any Z objects which are going to be impacted if you go for SAP S4HANA. So let's say, for example, if I am a customer, I am using SAP from last 10 years. And in that 10 years, I have hundreds of custom objects. I'm just giving a simple example. 100 is a very small amount, I know. So let's
Yes.
say I have 100 objects which are Z objects.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I want to go for SAP S4HANA, and
Mm-hmm.
if you come as a consultant and implement SAP S4HANA, and later on when I'm trying to run one of the report, it is giving error or it is giving dumb, definitely I'm not going to be impressed by that. I'll definitely shout on you as a consultant, and also like how SAP has not taken care of that, right? So
Correct.
that is the reason SAP has provided this tool, so that before you move on to SAP S4HANA, even in your ECC system today itself, you run this tool, it will give you the complete report. It will tell you which Z objects will be impacted and which Z objects will work as it is. Not only that, it will also give you some more information. Like for example, out of this 100 objects, 80
Mm-hmm.
objects, let's say, will work as it is without any changes. They will work as they are working today. These 20 objects are in problem. So they need some adjustment before they can be used in SAP S4. Now out of these 20 objects, this report will also show you whether these 20 objects are really used or not. So frequency, like when exactly this object was used last time, whether this is developed and afterward it is used or it is already obsolete, nobody is using that. Okay, so let's say out of 20 you realized 10 objects are very old, nobody is using them, so no problem. If they are deleted, that is also not a problem. Now remaining 10 objects which are impacted and which are useful, without which we cannot migrate to SAP S4 because they are critical. How exactly they will be adjusted, for that also SAP will be providing you the SAP note. So let's say for example, this is one of the object which was identified, like you are using KONV, KONV is no more available, the new table is PRCD underscore element, please follow this SAP note to perform the adjustments. So if you go to that SAP note, it will clearly specify what adjustment you want to do. You don't need to do any manual adjustments on your logic, you just need to follow that SAP note and your custom codes will work as they are working today in ECC.
Okay. And Gaurav, my second question is with this credit management FSCM part. So now there is no work for the SD consultant for this credit management. It is totally handled by FI consultant.
See, this question even in ECC also, this was a big question, whether the credit management functionality should be handled by SD or FI. Because see, ultimately it is going to affect your SD cycle, right?
Correct.
For example,
Correct.
whenever you are going to create a sales order, at that time if you are getting the error that credit is not available or something like that, so that is something which there is no rigid answer that this will be handled by SD or FI. But at the same time, in some of the organizations, they make it clear that it is not necessary that every time it will go to SD or every time it will go to FI. So let's say for example, in some of the organizations, all the credit management functionality responsibility lies with this department. Let's say SD. In some of the other organizations, it will be always with FI. But definitely we need to understand from the integration point of view, irrespective of whether you will be responsible for doing it or not.
Correct. 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 Got it.
Okay. So how I will recommend is, as I told you, FSCM is much more than SDAR. I've given you two examples. One is centralized credit limit, credit control. Second is getting the information from the external agencies. So if you are using these two functionalities, there is no role of SD. Then it has to be done by the FSCM consultant only, even not FI. It will be handled by FSCM consultant only. But the remaining things, whatever you were able to do in ECC, at least that functionalities you must know as SD as well as FI consultant, because it is not necessary that if you are not using those functionalities, I don't think there is any need of bringing on FSCM consultant to do that configuration, because configuration is almost same. Only thing is you just need to understand the new terminologies and some of 2 or 3 new configurations and some new transaction codes to perform that master data and transactions. That's it.
Okay. Thank you, Gaurav.
Yes. So what I will be showing you in the credit management session is, I will show you the way in which we were doing the things in ECC vis-a-vis how they will be handled in SAP S4. So we'll be only concentrating on the things which are possible in ECC. We are not going to talk about the centralized credit limit, because as I told you that if it is required, it definitely needs the fully responsible FSCM consultant for that. It is not at all expected from SD or FI consultant to perform that configuration. Okay, so same thing, the FI AR credit management. So in some of the documentations you can find FI AR, SD AR. So no need to worry about what term it is used. In short, you can say the old credit management or traditional credit management functionality is no more available, and the functional equivalent in SAP S4HANA is SAP FSCM credit management, which is a new component. Okay, so what will be the influence on the processes? I don't think there is any point in going through these slides, because I think in the next session itself we are going to talk about the complete credit management functionality in detail. So we need to understand this functionality from two projects point of view, again, from the implementation point of view and from the migration point of view also. So when we are discussing this tomorrow, we'll be only focusing from the new implementation point of view, where we are configuring everything from scratch. So credit control area, whatever configurations we were doing in ECC, how they will be done in SAP S4, that we will see in tomorrow's session. But how the conversion will happen, which means till now I was using the old functionality. Now suddenly SAP has said you need to use FSCM credit management. So do I need to perform all that configuration again? What about my old data? There are a lot of customers who are created where the credit limit is also available. How they will be migrated into SAP S4 new tables? There are a lot of transactions also available. So what will happen to that? That is something which we'll be discussing in the conversion project, which we'll be doing towards the end of the course. So tomorrow, or maybe whenever we are going to talk about, maybe if we get a time today, we'll start. So whatever we'll be understanding from the new implementation point of view, and later on we'll be talking about the conversion point of view. Okay, so don't worry about this migration. We are going to talk about this in detail. Coming to the next thing, the revenue recognition functionality. So again, this is one of the functionality which has been completely removed in SAP S4. See why we are discussing this. As I told you earlier also, whenever you are going for SAP S4HANA projects, you are not only going for the configuration, you are going from the solutioning point of view. So if you know these things, you will be able to tell the client that these are the things which are not supported. So you'll start with that only. Are you using this functionality currently? If they say yes, you need to inform them there itself that this functionality is not available, and if you want to use the features which are available in this is the alternative, so that they can take the decision. It should not happen that they don't know anything, they went for SAP S4 and finally they realized the revenue recognition is not working at all. So you should be able to tell the customers during the POC itself what is available and what is not in SAP S4. What are the Z objects will be impacted, what are the standard process which will be impacted, what kind of additional licensing you will be requiring. So all these things are part of solutioning. So you only don't need to worry about from the configuration point of view. That is something which is very easy. Configuration, master data, transactional data, that is something which if you understand once, it is you can be able to perform. But what you need to incorporate is the solutioning thing, because most of the time, if you start the project now, most of the time you will be doing solutioning as of today, because most of the projects which are available as of today in market, they are POC kind of projects. The customer wants to know what SAP S4HANA can offer me, what are the benefits I'll get, and what are the challenges that I'll face. Okay, so that things you need to understand from this. So this is also one of the very important thing, that you need to be very clear to the client that if you are already using revenue recognition functionality in SD, that is no more available. Okay, and what
Hey
is the
Gaurav,
alternative? Yes,
hey,
Manish.
sorry to interrupt. So what is the difference? Means there is any change like in standard revenue recognition and this new SAP revenue accounting and reporting? There is any change? Just asking.
Definitely lot of changes. I'm coming to it.
Okay.
Lot of changes. That is the
Okay.
reason for this new thing. So I'll
We'll
come to it,
also see
Manish.
in the system.
No, system will not be able to see. I'll give you the entire overview. Can you just
Okay.
mute yourself? I'll tell you what exactly.
Sure.
Yeah. Yes. So the SD revenue recognition was very much part of SD functionality. Okay, while the revenue accounting and reporting, this is not in the core business process. This is a completely separate add-on, for which again you need separate licensing. You need to install this component via the external interface. It is an add-on. I'll not say interface, it is an add-on. Add-on means on core system you are applying some additional upgrades which is bringing these functionalities. So I am not sure whether this particular component is available in this server. But let me tell you why exactly SAP has done that and the complete overview of what exactly is RAR, revenue accounting and reporting. So again, this is one of the very integrated topic. This is not directly something which is only available in SD, because revenue recognition, there is a lot of accounting integrations that you need to do with FI. But from the SD point of view, definitely yes, because whenever you are creating the sales orders or the billing plans, you need to specify when exactly you want to recognize the revenue. Okay, so that was very simple as of now. The functionality which was supported in SD, that was very simple, and most of the time it was you who were performing the billing plans and providing the system. It was not complying with any of the accounting standards. Okay, it was all manual, I can say. But now there is in IFRS 15, which is one of the regulation, every company needs to follow that starting from 2017. Every company needs to follow IFRS 15 norms. And according to IFRS 15 norms, there are a lot of changes in the way how you recognize the revenue. Okay, which are not at all possible in the core business system if you are using SD revenue recognition. Okay, and SAP already in 2015 itself, they launched a new component which will take care of all these regulatory norms, which is called as SAP Revenue Accounting and Reporting. So in 2015, SAP came up with the first version, RAR 1.0, okay, which was only for this particular purpose, in order to make sure that whatever are IFRS 15 norms, they can be made use from this new component. And this new component is neither the responsibility of FI nor the responsibility of SD. This RAR itself is a completely treated as a separate niche module, and there are scarcity, as I can say, there is a completely scarcity in the market as of today, because not much of the consultants are trained on RAR functionality. It is a totally separate functionality. It is not something which you can correlate with the normal simple revenue recognition. There are a lot of things which you need to incorporate. At the same time, from the functional point of view, you must understand what is IFRS 15 norms. It is like if I want to implement RAR, if I don't have the knowledge of IFRS 15 norms, there is no point how you can configure the things. So more than the technical knowledge, you need the IFRS 15 knowledge, and that is the reason this technology is like the consultants who are entering into this world, they are from the IFRS 15 background, who have the knowledge of what is happening throughout the world in terms of IFRS 15, like how exactly the compliances are, like what we can see, how exactly the compliance and the things are getting agreed on that particular norms, what are the changes which are expected in future, where is SAP on that changes. So that is some kind of knowledge that you need for RAR. Okay, that is the reason RAR is a completely external component which is not available in the core system. So now revenue recognition, existing revenue recognition is no more available, so you cannot perform any kind of revenue recognition in the standard SAP S4HANA system. If you want, it has to be done by RAR only. That is the clear instructions from SAP, which definitely requires separate licensing, separate installation, and the niche skill also to implement that solution. So if you are from that background, maybe if you are interested into IFRS kind of thing, this is a very good opportunity, because the consultants are like, there are not much consultants who are skilled in this particular domain.
Hey, Gaurav,
Okay,
Manish here
so I'm
again.
just, yes, Manish.
You are showing something regarding this revenue recognition in the system?
No, I'm just showing you that this is a place where the revenue recognition was handled till now. Now that has been completely removed in SAP S4.
Okay, means these all T codes via 44, 42, 47 is not now in the S4HANA?
You need to check, even if the transactions are available, they are not going to work. I have not tried this, because this is a functionality which is totally gone and completely replaced with the external functionality. So whatever functionalities are available in the core system, let's say for example credit management. So earlier it was available in SD, now it is available in FSCM, we can explore that. But the functionalities which are already part of the separate add-on altogether, so that things I have still not checked. So maybe the old transaction, I don't think that will work, but we can try together.
Okay, and it will work as a vertical, matlab, means a particular interface kind of. We have to like work like that. You got
No,
my
it is
question?
not interface. There is a difference
Okay,
between the interface and add-on.
okay.
Add-on is something which is like, let's say for example, if you have 10 functionalities as of now in your core system and you
Hmm.
want to add 2 more functionalities, so you implement the add-on. So it will become 10 plus 12 in the same system. Okay.
Okay, so it is
Interface is
add-on.
what? Yes, interface is what? You have 10 functionalities here and you have 2 functionalities as external and you are creating the interface between them, but they are treated as 2 separate systems, right? In case of add-on, add-on will become part of that system itself.
Got it, got it. Proceed, please
Yes.
proceed.
Okay. So this is the place where in ECC you were getting in the sales and distribution basic functions, account assignment, there was a place where you were finding revenue recognition. I'll be showing you in the system also, but you can see that particular thing is not at all available in SAP S4, even in 1511 and also in 1610. It is no more available. Yeah, coming to the next thing, output determination. I think this is again something which we already discussed from the purchase order point of view, but now we'll be talking about the billing document and delivery point of view. So if I talk from 1511, okay, again there is a change here. So I hope you remember that, but if not, I'm just going to repeat whatever we discussed in PO output determination. So in ECC, we were configuring the output determination from transaction base for billing also, for delivery also, and for PO also. In 1511, SAP has provided a new output determination. Okay, and for purchase order, please understand it correctly. For purchase order, it was only supporting new output determination, while for billing, both were supported. Okay, by default also billing was supporting through NIS. There was no mandatory that you need to go for new output determination. But in case of 1610, as we discussed, even the purchase order is optional. Like you can either use the new output determination or old output determination. So now in 1610 by default, new output determination will be active for delivery also and billing also. Okay, while in case of 1511 by default it was NIS, old output determination. In 1610 by default it is new output determination, but again you have the choice that if you want to go back to NIS, I shown you one of the screen in case of purchase order output. Same screen is available for billing also. Let me just show you that in the system itself. So this is my SAP S4HANA system. So if I go to this SPRO screen, SAP reference IMG, and the output, new output determination, which is based on BRF plus, we normally define it from this particular screen, which was output control, right? Yeah, output control. So in the output control, the first thing itself, manage application object type activation. Here itself you can specify whether you want to use the new output determination or the old output determination. So you can see as of now only billing document is appearing here. So I can just double click here and specify whether the application is active. Application active means new output determination is active. If I don't want to use new output determination, if I want to continue NIS, I will click on this application inactive. If I'm not specifying anything here, if this line is not appearing here, by default, it will take this one, application active. Okay, so if there is no line, system is assuming that you are using new output determination. Okay, how are you going to do that? We already discussed, we'll go to transaction OPD. Okay, I'll be showing you this completely whenever we'll be creating the billing document in the next session. Okay, so you go to BRF plus screen and you see the rules for billing document, which is the first one itself. and then you determine the, okay, I think again, last time also we have seen that for purchase order, our XML files are not uploaded, due to which we were getting this error. So here also the XML files are not uploaded. We need to upload that files, and then only we'll be able to see this determination step. So I'll just make sure that these files are uploaded before we come to this particular session where we need to understand the new output determination for billing. Let me see if it is showing for purchase order or even that is also deleted. I deleted the it is not opening. Yes. Yes.
So you're saying that in SD the output, the new output determination can also be, rolled back to NAs, right? That's what you're saying.
Arijit, can you just keep your mic in front?
Yeah, it is there. You will hear me now?
Again, not very clear.
Okay, I'll put it on chat.
No, you can go ahead. Maybe I'll try to understand if I'm. Otherwise, okay, you can write on the chat. That is also fine. Okay, so I'll just make sure that this is available before we need to see the billing. There were some errors yesterday, or maybe from the last session. Even we have seen Migo was also throwing some kind of dump. So they have refreshed the server. That is the reason we are not able to see the config that we maintained earlier. So for our purpose, I configured slog again, the same company code that we were using for running our steps. But if you have created some data in the system, I think that is no more available. So you need to create once again. So I hope you already started off with creation of some, whatever I'm doing, you started following and you started creating your own scenarios, because that will be really helpful. If you just follow me, it may happen that you forget in some time. But if you create your own scenarios, that will definitely help you and you can come up with a lot of questions. Arijit, have you written something? Yes. Yes, Arijit has a question. In SD, the new output is optional or it's default and cannot be rolled back. Arijit, it is optional. You can use the old output determination or you can also use the new output determination. By default, system proposes new output determination, but you can always go back and you can switch that back to NACE. Even after that, in future, if you realize that now I am ready for new output determination, so you can always switch back. So it can be rolled back at any point of time. You got the answer, Arijit? Yep, okay. Arijit had another question which is not related to this session, so maybe I'll answer this after the completing of this session. So let me just go back once again to PPT. Let's see what are the other things. So this we already understood that the new output determination for outbound delivery and billing is available. You need to follow this SAP note. This will be providing you the XML files. If you remember, we seen 3 XML files which will be required to upload using transaction BRF plus if you want to use OPD. Okay, so this is that SAP note in which you will find 3 files. I think I shown you last time also which 3 files I'm talking about. So these 3 files. If I go to desktop. Okay, so in this SAP note, you will find these 3 BRF plus files. One for purchase order, another for outbound delivery, and third one for billing document. And only after you upload all these 3 files, you will be able to use these applications. So for billing, you must upload this file, for outbound delivery this one, and for purchase order this one. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm done with the overview. So what do you think? Do we continue, do you think we should continue for credit management today, or you are already, there are a lot of things we discussed. It all depends upon you. I'm okay.
Gaurav, as per me, we can continue. It's my view. You can ask
Yeah.
others also.
Yeah, Gaurav,
Okay.
this is Ravi here.
Yes,
I
Ravi.
think this is enough to understand
I
today,
just
and go back and take a look. And then, in my
No
opinion,
issues.
probably it's better to do tomorrow.
okay.
I have one question on the same topic.
Yes,
So you
please go ahead.
said moving forward, the revenue recognition will not be there in the new versions,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
and people are being told to migrate into that revenue, whatever,
RAR, yes.
RAR, right?
Hmm.
So now, if they migrate it, I'm assuming IFRS is not a mandatory as far as that is concerned, is it?
As of now, it is not mandatory, but I think from June or July 2017, which means from next 2-3 months, it is
Okay.
mandatory. In some of the parts,
So,
I think it is from 2018.
so IFRS is a part of that RAR?
IFRS compliance from the revenue recognition point of view is part of that RAR, not the complete
Part of the
IFRS.
RAR. Okay. So then hence my next question actually. So if that is the case, so those companies who are implementing, who are using revenue recognition as of now, do they have to buy new licenses to migrate into the new method of revenue recognition?
Yes, I think RAR involves the cost, but let me check completely. Earlier it was definitely yes, but I just need to, because as I told you, RAR is not only the functionality which works on SAP S4. It was developed it was available in 2015 itself. So for the customers, even who are using ECC and they want to comply with IFRS 15 norms, so RAR is available for them also. And that was definitely chargeable separately.
Yeah, that
But
was my
now
question.
since,
From there, 1
yes,
second, let me just finish. See, actually, where I'm working right now, we are on ECC right now, and
okay.
we are already implementing IFRS right now. Although I'm not part of the team right as of now, so does that mean that they have added that add-on for that RAR?
Not necessarily, because as I told you, IFRS is not something which is only relevant to RAR. IFRS is a big term altogether, right? We are only
Okay.
talking about from the revenue recognition point of view, from this particular functionality point of view. IFRS has lot of different norms. So whatever you are implementing may be the subset of that.
And this, thank you for that. The revenue recognition, if we are migrating, then if we're not going to allow to use the old revenue recognition, are there any migratory tools that SAP provides?
Yes, yes, yes. That we'll be discussing during the conversion. So during the
Awesome.
conversion, I'll
Okay.
be telling you, yes, so what are the steps that you need to follow and how are you going to migrate to the
Okay. Thank you.
new architecture?
Thank you. Another last question. I sent an email last week regarding the materials posting error I was
Migo.
getting.
Right, right,
Migo
right.
error.
Same thing.
Could you
Yes,
please,
Ravi, same
it is
thing.
pointing
Same thing
towards,
yes, 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 Ravi, I'm coming to it. Ravi, same thing I told you, that there were some errors which were found in, there were some dumps we were getting. That is the reason this system is completely refreshed now. So whatever transactions even you created, I don't think you'll be able to find that in the system. They have completely
when was it
refreshed the stuff.
refreshed?
Yesterday itself.
Yesterday. So all the company code data is gone now.
Yes, yes, yes. Even I created S-log again, because whatever I wanted to show you, I just created whatever information we created last time. So that also I created from scratch. That happens sometime, because
So
what
you
is
are
happening
able to
is
post
there are
Migo
a
now?
lot of, I have not tried Migo, but definitely let me see if I have some transaction to do so. Let me just see. I'll see at the end of this session, maybe if
No
some other
problem.
questions
No
are there,
problem.
let me
Just
answer it.
send me an
Let me
email
see.
also. That's fine for me.
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much, Gaurav.
Okay.
And let me tell you, you're doing an awesome job of teaching what's new, what's existing. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, any other questions? Okay.
Gaurav, I
Any
don't have any
questions?
question. Manish
Mm-hmm.
here, sorry to interrupt. Could you please again ping your mail ID on this chat screen? Last time I could not note this.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yes, written on the chat screen to all of you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, any questions maybe related to any of the previous session? So till that time, I'll just try to see if Migo is working or not as of now.
So, Gaurav, any changes in the workflow point of view?
No. Workflow will work as it is. I'm just trying if there is any purchase order already available, because I have not created any purchase order for our even, but supplier also are not created, because anyways we are done with settings. So let me see something. Sorry, wrong transaction.
It is okay, Gaurav. If you cannot do it, that's fine. Just test one and just send us an email so we can.
Sure. I am 100%.
Set up our companies again.
Yes. I'm 100% sure that will work, because the system is refreshed, means all the standard transactions will work definitely. What was happening was somebody has activated some of the business functions which are not supposed to be activated here in this system. And as you know, there are some business functions which are not reversible. So once you activate them, they are going to create a problem. So that is the reason why we were getting some kind of dumps. But now
That
I
error,
definitely
what I was getting, I understand what you're saying.
Mhm.
The error I was getting was related to the parallel currency. I doubt it's anything to do with somebody change, maybe something I did wrong. In the company
Mhm.
code currency, I put company code currency as when I set up the controlling area, that's 10. And when I tried to post a Migo, the error was
Mhm.
it was saying that duplicate entry, and it was trying to make, looks like it was trying to make an entry in T0001 A table, uh,
Okay.
and for a parallel currency. But when
Okay.
I go into
Normally that
customizing and try to
yes.
enter that T001A, even when it says it pops up the transport request number and everything, and when I say yes, still it was not saving in the table, and probably that is why it was trying to give an error. That was my guess. So let me try
Okay.
again once this comes up, and I'll set up another company today and try again, and I'll send you an email if it fails again. If you can
Sure.
execute a transaction, that's fine. Otherwise, just send us an email saying that it is working.
Okay. Perfect.
That's probably
Yep.
better.
Okay. Any other questions, please? Okay. If
And
not, maybe we can close today. Yeah.
and
Sorry.
one last thing, if possible, ask Krishna or Sana to send a recording of this session.
Yes. Definitely.
That way we have it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So tomorrow we'll be starting with the fresh topic. Whatever things we have seen theoretically today. Okay. So we'll be seeing these things practically. We will create some sales order. We'll see how the data is moving into different tables like status tables, the output determination, and the credit management part. So I think tomorrow we'll be having a larger session, because there are a lot of things whichever we discussed today we'll try to complete from the SD side, at least from the new implementation point of view. and then definitely similar to as I told you that there are some things which will be requiring from the conversion point of view also. Okay, can we close? Any other questions? Okay, there are some questions in the chat screen, Arijit. Arijit is saying, in BP, can we create a new role? Don't create a new role, although that is possible, but I think we discussed earlier, it creates a lot of problem, because if you are creating some new role, you may not be able to use the purpose. Even if, I'll say, if you are creating the new role, that is also perfectly fine. Normally you don't need it, but even if you create, that is not going to create any problem. But please don't change the standard role. Don't change FLCU 0001. The standard roles, if you change, then again it may require us to reset the complete server. So don't touch the standard roles, and there is actually no need of creation of new role. Maybe groupings, yes, they will be required, BP groupings, because your account group is based on that. But role, I don't think at all that requires to be created as a new one, or maybe you need to change that role. And second question is from Arijit again, where can I get general segment, company code segment, and purchasing view segment in one go? That is not possible in SAP S4. Because if you remember, if you want to update the company code information, we are using FI customer or FI vendor. It will give us the company code tab. If you want to update the sales organization related information or purchasing organization related, we need to either select customer or vendor without FI. Okay, so there is no one place where you will find all the three views available at one place like we had in ECC. That is not possible here at all.
Gaurav?
Yes, Saryaj?
Yeah, actually, I was asking if I create a zero and if I put FLV and 00 and FLV 01 together, so then can I get all the three views together in BP, or it is not possible?
No, 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 not possible.
Okay, so a zero with all the with both FLV will not work. So I have to go select the role from top down and then continue, right?
Yes, yes, yes. You have to select two roles, one for the FI customer and second for customer. Similarly from vendor, FI vendor and vendor.
Okay.
Okay, then bye as of now, and we'll meet tomorrow again on same time with the practical session on SD credit management, SD credit, as well as some other topics related to SD. Thank you. Bye.